Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's do a little something different today. We're going to look at the previous cycles and we're going to try to figure out, are we on track or are we behind or what's going on? So let's start with the first cycle that Bitcoin ever created, which was this cycle right here. And I'm not going to measure it from the top back to the bottom, back to the, like everybody else. I'm going to measure it from the bottom because that's what, matters, right? The bottom, not the top. It's the bottom of when it actually starts. It doesn't start here, it starts from the bottom. So that's where it should be measured, and that's where I'm measuring it. So you can see this first cycle here, which is this cycle back over here, right? We had a 1, this could be a 2, 3, 4, and 5, but we'll talk about that later. But so here's your first cycle, and you can see how massively impulsive it was, right? Measuring it from the bottom. If that were the case, and we were to duplicate that, we could see $3 million. Yeah, right. That's never going to happen. But that's kind of the money you would make back over here. So if you bought Bitcoin at $3 and then you sold it at $1,000, that's basically the same thing as buying it at 15, 20, 30,000 and selling it at 4 million. Okay, so that's a major success if people got in Bitcoin early, right? I was not fortunate enough to get in over here. I started accumulating Bitcoin somewhere around there. That was the summer of 2017. Actually, no, it was a little bit further. Yeah, the summer right around here. But anyways, so we could see where this cycle ends right here. It ends pretty much where it is now, right? So here's the top of the cycle right there, and here could be potentially the top, right? But here's the problem with that. Back in the day, Bitcoin was a smaller market cap. Overall, crypto was very small, which means things moved a lot faster, right? What is the number one complaint for this cycle? It's taking too long. It's taking too long. It's taking forever. That's because when you have a bigger market cap, it's harder to move the needle in either direction because there's so much interest. Versus back in the day when there wasn't that many people, it was very easy to move the price massively, right? So the same thing goes with time as well. The time that it takes to get to the bottom, the time that it takes to get to the top is forever going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why the 4-year cycle doesn't make sense at all. People think, oh, every 4 years it has to happen. It happened once, it happened twice, and it kind of happened a third time, right? But that trend we shouldn't expect to continue. People think, okay, in another 4 years, right? Or they'll tweet, oh, the bear market is here, I'll see you in another 4 years. That's just not the way it works. Right? Because the problem is, in order to go into a bear market, you would have to have gone into a bull market. Well, the only coin that went into a kind of a bull market was Bitcoin, but it didn't really go into expansion that much. I mean, the all-time high was 70K. We had one little wave above it, and that was it. So is that the whole bull run? I mean, maybe. But what I think is happening here, it's probably setting up to be some major mid-cycle correction. Kind of like how we had that first wave up, we had a mid-cycle correction, and then we finished the wave, right? So that could be what potentially this could be, right? We could come up here, and if that's the case, then we have a lot more downside to come. And we have that mid-cycle correction, and then we go up and take the top, right? But the issue here is we already have basically 5 waves. So if this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go up and hit 5, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then, and we go up and hit the top, maybe, what is that, 130, 140, then it's probably not likely that we're going to have a mid-cycle correction with another wave because it's probably finished at that point. So anyways, this first cycle, we perfectly nailed the top, pretty much. All right, let's get rid of that. And let's look at the other cycles. So let's take a look at the 2017 cycle, and I'm going to line it up exactly on the low there. Let's see, which one was the absolute low? This is the 2-week chart. I'm also looking at the 2-week fractal. You could see the absolute low is actually this candle here. So that's where I'm going to start it. I'm going to start that right there, and we're going to take a look, and we're going to see exactly where we are in regards to the current cycle. And you can see, guys, you can see we are not even, 60% of the way there. Maybe more than that, probably more like 70%. Let's see, we have from here to where we are, that's 861 up to 1,000. So yeah, you're looking at about, you're already 80% of the way there. So you still need 20% more if that's the case, right? So we're looking at it from a time perspective, not so much a structure perspective, although it does have a pretty interesting structure. It's kind of similar, in that regard. And you can see we're kind of right there, obviously, but let's see where that was back over here. So that was, let's see, I think this was the flat. Yeah, so that was the flat. So A, B, C, that was your running flat. So that's actually back over here. And that coincidentally lines up with the all-time high. That was the running flat before we went into the bull market. You see, everyone thinks we're in a bull market and now we just entered a bear market. No. We've never been in a bull market. People don't even, the only thing that was that felt like a bull market was Bitcoin breaking above 100K and XRP breaking out above $1 and $2 and even $3. And it felt like a bull run. It felt euphoric. But if you look at the rest of the market, it did not participate. So you can see, we had this flat right at the all-time high. And then this is the bull market right here. See, this is just a lead-in. You're revving up, you're revving up, you're revving up. And then once you break out, that's the bull market, right? And this is the pop of the bull market, and that's a bear market. But that's not what happened. You can see, right? We're still having higher highs and higher lows. So there's no bear market, right? For Bitcoin, even, especially since the bull market just started, or did it just start? That's the question. According to this fractal, we could last until October, right? See, the thing is this cycle was going a lot faster than the other cycles. So it had to catch up a little bit, versus time. That's why things kind of take its time. Like, for example, look when we broke out here, right? We broke out before the fractal back over here. And the thing is remember, well, like I said, time, the bigger the market gets, the longer the cycles should technically be, right? And the longer the bear market should be, right? Look how small that bear market was, but look how large this bear market was, right? But this bear market also was pretty big, right? So they're all kind of in the same degree, but they're getting bigger because the market's getting bigger, which means it's harder to push the needle one way or another. So things take more time to get to that target, right? So if that's the case, here we are in 2025. Are you telling me that the 2017, this run up here, very limited amount of people, very small market, is going to be longer in time than this bull run? Yeah, it's possible, and maybe even likely, especially because we have a clear 5-wave move. Back over here, you sort of had these 1, 2, 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you kind of shot up for a 3, 4, and 5. So it was really impulsive, much different than it is today. But I'm not looking at that. I'm just looking at it from a time perspective. So this fractal says, theoretically, I'm not saying it's true, but theoretically, we have until October of this year for the cycle to continue, right? Now, does that mean we're going to go straight up from here? No. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, actually, let's do this so no one gets the wrong idea. Let's put this here, okay? And let's get rid of this here. All right. So there's no way we're going to go way up here, right? Probably the highest Bitcoin can maybe go is about 150 or even 200 this cycle. I just don't see it going higher than that. I don't even think it can hit 200. Honestly, I think maybe like 130, 120, pretty much. But what I'm saying is the time, that's what matters, right? Because as long as we have time, we can, and it's not even for Bitcoin, really. It's for XRP, actually. It's for the rest of the market. But anyways, if we could, get back up here within that amount of time, or if we have some kind of mid-cycle correction where, this could be the correction here, but I'm saying something a little bit bigger, something more like over here. Actually, before we do that, let's take a look at our last fractal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our last fractal. And this bull run was actually very quick. It ended fast. So let's put that there. And you can see the top of the market was here. Then we crashed, and then we came up into a retrace. But look where the retrace actually ended. It ended at the same time as the other fractal, right? Remember, I had this line here, right? And you can see that this fractal actually was the same length and time as the previous. So, and that's giving us confluence for, again, October of this coming year, or the October of this year. So, but you can see here, right? We had the top here, right? We crashed, and then we came up and we took the high. So that's kind of what we've been discussing anyways, right? Let's see, let me line it up one more time. And we are exactly, let me take a line here. So the top of the market was exactly right there, and that's exactly where we are, right? So the top of the market was right here. This was when Coinbase IPO'd. Back over there, I believe. And that's exactly where we are from a time perspective. Now, you could see what happened after that. We kind of chilled out a little bit, and then we came up and hit the high. So is that what's going to happen again? I think we could potentially see that. Because if here's the thing. If the bear market is here, this would have been the shortest, smallest bull market of all time. It would have been the smallest, short-lived bull market of all time. The reason why it feels like it's taking forever is because we were accelerating a lot faster in the beginning, right? If you compare all the cycles, we were accelerating a lot quicker versus where we are now. So if things slow down today, it's going to feel like a bear market, but in reality, we're just making up for the time that we expended getting there in the first place, if that makes sense. So that could be a real possibility. So if we had some kind of mid-cycle correction or a downturn, I don't think that is the start of a bear market. I think that is a continuation of, for Bitcoin, it'd be a mid-cycle correction. But for the altcoins, it would just be a continuation of the already bear market that we've been in, right? Like, for example, we look at THETA, we can see we have been in a bear market all the way since back over here. So when people write on Twitter, oh, the bull market is over and the bear market, how is that even possible? We've never been in a bull market, right? So if we expect, let's put Bitcoin up here. If we expect Bitcoin to get one more high, right? Maybe we don't. Maybe we get 3 down, and then we get 3 up, and then we get 3 back down, and it becomes a larger 3-way move, and then we go up and get the high towards that October time, whatever the case may be, right? Because we have to assume there's going to be a retracement, right? There's always some type of retrace. See, this was the top, then we crashed, and then we went into a retrace. So if this is the top and we crash, could we go into a retrace that takes the top? Absolutely, right? And that's what I think is plausible based on the time analysis, because if it ended now, it would just be, it wouldn't make too much sense. That's why this bull market is, or this cycle, I shouldn't say bull market because we're not in a bull market. For Bitcoin, we are theoretically, because we're above the all-time high, we're in kind of price discovery, but for the rest of the market, we're not. But so this cycle is going to be unlike any other cycle, right? And we really haven't had a cycle, so it's mostly like a rotational type of cycle, right? You know what I mean? So some things are participating and some things are not, right? So it because everybody's conditioned to believe, okay, every 4 years you're going to have a cycle, and everybody trades that way. The first time nobody knew, they did it, and then the second time they were a little bit leery, and then they did it, and then the third time they were very convinced. Okay, it happened the last two, so it has to happen the third time. They were convinced, and it actually kind of worked out for them. And now here we are on the fourth cycle, and now it's like, okay, now for sure we have to have 4 years. And then that's where everyone trades in that same direction, that 4-year cycle, block reward having type of mindset. They're trading according to what happened in the past. The problem is that they could have been right, but when everyone makes the same trade because everybody believes the same thing, that's when you get the opposite reaction. And that's what we're seeing now. So when we look at them both side by side here, right, I believe that this is a three-way move up for Theta. This is a three-way move down for Theta, right? And obviously we have 5 up for Bitcoin, right? So if Bitcoin continues down, obviously we're going to probably continue down as well. But if we find support here, or even where we are now, and we start grinding our way back up, and we actually set another high, that could be when altcoins really go crazy, right? And Theta can see a move that just skyrockets all the way up to $7, $8, $9. Because again, what do I say? When you have an A, B, C, what is the most aggressive wave? It's the C wave, okay? Or the Y wave. And what do we have here? A, B, C. So what do you think is going to be the most aggressive wave? The wave that is potentially coming, the C wave, right? So if we get a retracement in Bitcoin, or we break the high for Bitcoin, right, we could see that massive acceleration in something like Theta or some other coin. But if Theta is not going to participate this cycle, then we'll switch gears to XRP, because I believe Theta will participate in this cycle or even the next. The reason why it might not be so strong this cycle is because, remember, it went up massively last cycle. It went up, let's see, it went up from the bottom to the top. Oh my God, it went up 40, almost 50, we'll say 45,000%, guys. It went up 45,000%. That's insane. What is that, like a 500x move, basically? You had a 500x move, guys, in 2021. XRP only went up to $2. It was not even 1,000%. So that's why we're seeing this weakness here, because we had so much strength here, right? So, but if we compare this to, like the Ethereum model, right? You can see Ethereum went up massively as well, right? So, but it had to take all this time and weakness to get to the big move up. That's the same thing here. We had the big move, right? And we have all of this weakness here that we see now. So you can see this is the W model, where you go all the way up, you slam down, and then you create this W shape, right? W, where you have a double bottom, right? That's exactly what potentially is happening here, right? You can see, guys, this is beautiful. I mean, this to me, and by the way, it's April 1st, April Fools. right? Is this a big April Fool's joke on the rest of the market? I just had somebody text me from 2022. I haven't heard from them. And they said they're waiting for the big short. So everybody's waiting for the short. That's the problem, man. That's why I would not be screwing around right here. To me, if you have a paycheck and you're working at a job, not financial advice, but I would be stacking crypto like there was no tomorrow, right? Every dollar you put into crypto is going to be $10 in the future if you just hold it and don't think about it, right? Look at this, guys. All right, we had the freaking telemarketer. Anyways, we had the bull run, right? We had the bull run. We had the big crash. We had the big crash, right? And then we came up. And then we had boom, 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 right? Same thing here. Boom, boom, boom. We had a three-wave move down that basically came back down to the low. And then that's what kicked off a massive bull run for Ethereum. So when people think the bear market is here, and they believe that the bear market just started, and they believe that, okay, we have another 4 years until we can get back into the bull market, they are sadly mistaken. If this is true, this may not be true. This may not be the right idea. This may be the wrong idea. This may be totally wrong. But I just find it funny that the narrative, what is the narrative? It's the tariffs. Well, guess what? It just like even, oh my God, Blockchain Backer today confirmed what I said, what I've been saying for a while now. And I should play the clip. Let me see. So basically what I've been saying is buy the rumor, sell the news. But instead, right? Because let me show you real quick, and I'll play the clip from BCB, because basically when you look, for example, at Bitcoin, right? You can see Bitcoin was going up, right? And then once we got to the top, that's when the narrative came that we should go higher because of inflation. That's exactly what's happening now. But instead, people think we should go down, continue down because the tariffs. And maybe they're right, but the problem though, from my perspective, is that we've already been going up. For example, if we were kind of going sideways for a while, or sideways in here for a while, and then that narrative came, I would have been a little bit more bullish. But since we already went up in 5 waves, since it looks like it's almost there in time when you compare that first cycle, there is cause for concern that it could be completely over with. But if everything lines up perfectly and we get one more wave, because again, the fractal that we were just looking at the beginning of the video says this is our window of time right in here. So the cycle should end, based on the previous cycle, should end somewhere within these 2 black lines. That's our window, right, of time. So during this window of time, we could easily come back and take the top, right? Just like we've done back over here. We took the top. And as you take the top, that's considered a retrace. And during a retrace, that's when you get major things happening, right? And I'm going to circle around to the tariff narrative, but essentially what makes it so powerful is that THETA didn't even go up in a bull run until Bitcoin had already topped, right? That's when THETA exploded, basically vertical, after it had already topped, right? So if this is the true top of Bitcoin, how come we're not seeing anything major happen, right? Unless we have to come back up, and take the top, right? Or maybe go up one more wave. And that could be like an A, B, C, like A, B, C, how with a B wave comes up, higher than the cycle top, which is the retrace, which then could cause a big move up. And you can see during this retrace, that's when theta was, the bubble had already popped, right? So, and another reason too is because you have 3 waves up, you get 3 waves down, and then you should get 3 waves back up, meaning that this is a complex B, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, right? That's an A, and then you have 3 up, 3 down. Let's go back up and get 3, right? That's what it seems like to me. But everyone's convinced that we should continue down because of the narrative. Because what's going to happen tomorrow, guys? April 2nd. That's when the tariffs take place. But everybody knows it's already priced in. People think, oh, it should go down. So what people are going to do is they're going to short today and tomorrow because they feel like, okay, the market should crash. It should crash because the tariffs are here. And those people are I feel so bad for them because they have no clue, right? Everybody who sold because of the tariffs already sold. Everybody knows the tariffs are here. So it's not like there's anything new. It's the same kind of thing when, for example, I'll give you an example. Like, let's say there's going to be a big XRP. Let's say the SEC comes out and they explain to everyone. They say, okay, we got the XRP ETF applications, all right, and we're going to approve the ETF in 8 weeks. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? If the SEC comes out right now and gives us the narrative that they are going to accept the ETF and confirm it in 8 weeks, what do you think is going to happen? The price is going to shoot up like a madman. Okay, and then fast forward 8 weeks later, what do you think is going to happen? You think it's going to keep going up? No, it's probably going to crash. Because why? You bought the rumor. What was the rumor? The rumor was the ETF is coming in 8 weeks. Then everybody buys, the price goes up because with the anticipation of that coming, and then once it actually happens, that's when you sell. That's when you get out. It's buy the rumor, sell the news. The news is 8 weeks later, right? The SEC came out in 8 weeks, said, now it's the 8 weeks is here, and now the ETF is accepted. But guess what? Everybody already knew about it. Everybody was already priced in. That's exactly what's happening with the tariffs, guys. The tariffs, okay? So when we look at the tariffs, we're going down, 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 right? And now, let me put April 2nd here. Let's go to the daily. Okay. And actually, that's April 3rd. Well, it's actually going to be April 3rd because it's one day, because this is UCT time. So there's April 2nd, really. So basically tomorrow, the tariffs are going to happen tomorrow. Just like if, for example, if the SEC, if everybody knew the SEC was going to accept the XRP ETF, confirm the ETF, do you think the price would go up or down? Well, it would probably go down because everybody knew about it. The same thing with the tariffs, right? So if everyone believes, because what is the mainstream media doing? They are insinuating fear, right? They want people to believe. All of crypto Twitter, tariffs are bad. Everyone is being conditioned to believe that the tariffs are why the market is coming down. And the big tariffs haven't even came yet. No, this is the market pricing in what is about to happen. And then once it happens, then the reverse happens, right? So if the tariffs come out tomorrow and the price comes down, then that's going to be interesting, right? Then they were all right. Everybody was right. that the tariffs are going to bring the market down. And I still think that the market will come down. I think we still have, some lows to deal with, right? So here's a low. We could easily, like, for example, this is 3 waves down. Okay, this is 3 waves up. We could easily get 3 waves back down, guys, and take out the low. And then everyone's like, see, I told you the tariffs are taking place, and then that's when the market... Yeah, but maybe that's true. But I'm telling you what, April 4th, April 5th, April 6th, April 7th, April 8th, days and weeks after the tariffs have already taken place, people are going to forget about it. People are going to realize, you know what? It's not so bad. Just like when COVID came out, everyone flipped out, right? Like we had the biggest crash in the world over here, right? But guess what? Once it happened, it was over. Just like once the tariffs happen, it's over, right? Everybody already knows it's there. So now people are pricing in, well, what's the next event? What's the next event? See, just like over here, everybody was buying Bitcoin, or a lot of people were buying Bitcoin over here because they were pricing in what was about to happen, which was what? Inflation, right? Because nobody was talking about inflation back in 2020 on the mainstream media. I know I was back. That's why I was buying silver. I have receipts of my gold and silver going back 2018 because I was gearing up for this inflation because of what they were planning, right? So we were down here and we were buying, and then we went up, and then that's when they came out and said, oh yeah, now we have all of this inflation. So then what people thought was, well, then we should go higher, right? Peter Schiff, for example, once inflation was here, right? That's when the inflation narrative came up here, right? Then we had a big crash. Then Peter Schiff came out and says, how come Bitcoin's crashing when we have all of this inflation? Because it went up because it was pricing in before the inflation comes out. See, the markets are not rational. They price in things way before they actually happen. Okay, that's what I'm trying to explain. And here's BCB right here explaining it as well. So let's take a listen here.
Tomorrow's April 2nd. Tomorrow's the big Trump tariff stuff. What's always good about those types of things, okay? Like, I want you to reflect every time you've, known about an event coming, and it's, a positive event, and then you get to it, and then price dumps when the event happens. And you're like, wait, man, my bags were supposed to pump because of me and the millions of other people who knew this event was coming knew it was going to pump. But it dumps instead, right?
Exactly. That's exactly. That's what we've been saying, man. It's... If everybody knows the tariffs are coming, then it's no secret. See, the markets only move when it's surprised. Like when Trump tweeted out about the XRP ADA strategic reserve. That was insane. That was like, holy crap. And that happened on a Sunday. I wish it didn't happen on a Sunday, but it happened on a Sunday, and it flew the price way to the upside because it was a surprise. But the tariffs are no surprise. Everybody knows about it. So they think, the market should continue down because, yes, it's the news event, and yes, they are most likely going to be right that the tariffs will continue to bring the price down. But during the event itself, and not to mention we just had a Bitcoin death cross, right? A lot of times you rally into that death cross, and a lot of times you counter rally the news. So if there's something good coming out, like with THETA or HBAR, and people know about it, and then it comes out, people expect the price to go up. Like the AMA markets for the XRP ledger, people thought the price were going to go up, and it did nothing. Listen.
You see it happening from a mile away, right? Well, a lot of times what happens too is when there's something negative coming or it's perceived as negative, markets will head down until you get to the event, and then the negative thing happens, and then markets reverse from there. So, a positive thing is that tomorrow is finally the April 2nd Trump tariff stuff. So we'll get past that. And hopefully that's been a sell the rumor, buy the news situation. So
Right.
we have something to look forward to, that maybe your brain doesn't comprehend that way. But think of it from the reverse. What happens when you see good things coming? Price turns the other way, right? Same thing happens when they're bad. Markets will sell the rumor, buy the news. So, all right, we'll go ahead and wrap the thing up.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's go. All right, now let's take a look at some price action. All right, so now we got all that out of the way. We looked at the fractals, or we looked at the previous cycles. So now let's just take a look at the price action. So, oh, by the way, since BCB's on, he put out a couple cool fractals, and I want to show you those. So here's the first fractal that was really interesting. And I was kind of looking at it, but I didn't really think of anything because, you know, when we hit the high, we came up, we hit the low. I didn't get that over here because this was definitely a contender for the fractals that I've been looking at. But, you know, I kind of see where he's going here with this. So if this is kind of like, the big move down, you know, you kind of come up, hit the low, come up, hit the low, and then, you know, you're just kind of, or actually, maybe this was the low here, and then you kind of play around a little bit, then continue high. That's one way we can look at it, right? Kind of like a little bit of a wedge coming in here, and then you break out. Let's see if that plays. Another one is this one, and I think I like this one a little bit better. You can see we had a big move down, right? We spiked the high really fast, and then we slammed the low. Same thing here. We spiked the high, and then we slammed the low. And then we kind of had this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this diagonal shape. I mean, it kind of looks like a diag, but I don't really like it as much. And then we hit one more time, and then we skyrocketed to the upside. Is that going to happen? I don't think so. I don't think we're going to skyrocket. I think, you know, I think we still have a lot more ranging to do, but I think eventually, yeah, it could come up and take the top here. Because if everyone believes that the tariffs are going to bring the market down, then everybody should go short and sell their crypto and get out. But how come nobody does that? Because instinctively, I think they know better. So here's another fractal, and I think I like this one a lot too. Basically, you come down, and then you set a new low. You come down, and then you set a new low, and then you kind of like wave up. Maybe we're waving up here. We come back down, and then come back up, flag out, come back up, flag out, and then continue higher. I mean, so we have something like this here, right there. I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely a contender for sure. And then if we look even closer, we can see same thing, right? We have the low, we got the divergence, we got this little wave up, we came back down. So do we still have to hit the low again like that before going up, or are we good now? I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing. So, you know, just like how I'll give you a really good example. So back over here, Coinbase IPO'd, and everyone believed that, you know, since Coinbase IPO'd, that we should go higher because that's bullish for the market. Well, it was the exact opposite. It was bearish, right? So you get good news at tops and you get bad news at bottoms. All right, now let's look at Ethereum. So if we look at Ethereum, if I can find it really quick, if we look at Ethereum, you can see it's been one of the weaker coins. It's been one of the really not so good coins, right? It's been very weak. Man, I like that move right there. I should have bought that. That was a nice little double bottom there. You see how it came here, and then it set a little bit of a base. This is the first time I'm looking at it today, but man, that was a nice little bottom there. I wish I would have scooped up. Damn it. Anyways, all right, let's go back up here to the higher time frames. You can see Ethereum definitely has been one of the weaker ones, right? But look what it's been doing. It's been going down, 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 down. Oh no, Trump's going to come out with tariffs. More down, down, down. And then guess what? April 2nd's coming and tariffs should be coming. Maybe that marks the bottom, guys. Maybe the tariffs actually coming into it's coming live actually will mark the bottom. If not, maybe a little bit lower, right? So maybe the tariffs come out April 2nd, and we get a little bit of a pump, and then we flush the low, and then we get going. That's also because what that would do is that would also trick people like me who think ahead of time and who believe that the tariff narrative is just to suck in retail, right? So retail is getting sucked in with this narrative of the tariffs, which is designing bearishness, fear in the market, which brings the market down, right? And then once that news, like the tariffs actually take place, maybe you kind of start going up again, but then all of a sudden, after the event is already over, that's when you flush the low, and then that's when people say, yeah, see, I thought it was wrong, but now I believe I was right, in that the price is continuing down with the tariffs, but that actually marks the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we've been talking about maybe one more low being the fifth wave. And that's so interesting that the tariffs April 2nd, because Trump said that many, many times. April 2nd, April 2nd. He wants people to know April 2nd, it's coming, right? So anyways, we'll see what happens April 2nd, which is tomorrow. I don't think anything's going to happen. I think we're probably going to hold the lows here. Maybe we set a little bit of a low, but I think after all of the tariff stuff is already in place and people move on with other things, like for example, the stablecoin regulation bill should be coming soon, right? A crypto bill. So what's going to happen? See, the market up here, first of all, the market right here was not sure who was going to be president. Trump won, and it was a news event. So nobody knew until it actually happened, and then that's when the price exploded. Once the price exploded, then people realized, okay, well, now we have another problem, though, which is what? Which is the tariffs coming, because Trump's going to implement his tariffs. So then what happens is the people price in that. So this was way before even people were talking about tariffs. These were investors pricing in what Trump was going to eventually do, which was the tariffs, because he campaigned on that, right? So we're going down, 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 down into the tariff news, right? So now here's where the news happens, right? So that could be the bottom, and then we start coming back up. So then now we're down here, right? We're down here. This is when the tariff news happens, and then it's over with, and nothing really happens. Maybe we have one more low, but then guess what happens? People then start pricing in, okay, what's the next event? Because before that, it was Trump winning, and then it was the tariffs, and now what is it, right? Well, for XRP, it was the lawsuit ending, right? And we got a little bit of a spike, but it was over, right? Because why? Why was it not that big of a deal? Because people knew it was going to happen. So now we're down here. What is the next thing people are going to start pricing in? What if it's regulations? Because we should get some kind of stablecoin bill. So what if we start rattling up to the upside? We're pumping, right? And then we get up to the retrace levels, and then that's when we have the stablecoin bill. So then everyone's excited. Oh my God, they're going to sign the bill tomorrow. They're going to sign the bill, and that means crypto's going to go way up to the upside. But what happens? They sign the bill, and then what happens? Then we start going back down, because the narrative, the assumption was that we're going to get a stablecoin bill. So people buy, and then the price goes up, and then the news comes out, and then they sign the bill, and then the other guy thinks that, oh, the price should skyrocket to the upside because they just signed. No, it was already priced in. And now we're starting to go down. So that's why everybody can't figure it out, right? So when we get up here, and then we have that bill, and then we start flagging out, and then it's over with, right? And then people think, oh, you know, it didn't break out when the bill was signed. So it's never going to break out. But what it's actually doing is it's flagging out. And then maybe you get some other bad news down here, like something happens with some, like maybe some tether news or some regulation news or something that causes, you know, that makes people think it's going to go down. And then people start pricing in the next event. What's the next event? Maybe it's an XRP ETF. Maybe it's another crypto bill, right? Maybe it's something else, right? And then we start going up. And then that news event happens, and then that's when they sell. So anyways, but I digress on all that. I think I made my point pretty clear. So looking at Ethereum, I think we're really close to a bottom. All right. Everyone thinks that we're going to go much further down. I don't think so. The reason they think that, obviously, because the tariffs are coming. But I think the tariffs are going to actually do the opposite of what people think. Just like when Coinbase IPO'd, it did the opposite of what people thought. Just like when FTX collapsed, it did the opposite of what people... When FTX collapsed, people thought it was really game over and we were going to go a lot further down. But that actually marked the low. It actually marked the bottom, right? So what's worse, COVID, FTX collapsing, or tariffs? What's the worst thing? I mean, they're all pretty, you know, they're all got their own things. But I think for the most part, people get over it. If people could get over the whole world shutting down over COVID and price shooting up, do you think they're going to get over tariffs? Absolutely. Right? This is just a short-term roadblock that is causing a lot of deception in the market. So I think we're getting there. I think we're close. It looks to me like it could be complete now, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So it's either there or it's one more down. But either way, we're so close. We're so close. So don't get discouraged. This is the time to be dollar cost averaging. When everyone's fearful, running for the hills, tariff, we're all going to die. 4-year cycle's over. Bear market, get ready, sell everything and never look back. That would have been fine if you were up here, but you're way down here. You've been going down for a long time. Ethereum has already went down. Let's see, what percentage is that? It's already, guys, it already went down 60% basically. So that doesn't make any sense. Why would I sell it after a 60% dump? That doesn't make any sense at all. So I know people don't like Ethereum right now because it's kind of bearish, but I think Ethereum is shaping up to be quite bullish. The reason why is because now I have 3 waves down. I got 3 waves up, and this looks to me like it's 3 waves back down. It looks like a flat, and it's creating structure within a range. This is what you want. You want structure within the confines of a range to get that big breakout. Or you end up doing the W model like what we see with THETA today. So anyways, that's enough for that. Let's go to XRP and let's see what's going on here because we really haven't talked about it that much. So we just had the monthly candle in. I don't even think we looked at the monthly candle because we were looking at the 3-month candle. Okay, so there's the monthly candle. It's not the greatest, right? But we also had the 3-month candle, right? Where's the 3-month candle? So XRP, I think, yeah, XRP, guys, XRP just printed the highest quarterly candle in XRP history, despite all the bearishness in the market, despite Ethereum coming down 60%. Ethereum went down 60%. Theta went down probably more, 60, 70%. Bitcoin went down. Everything went down. The stock market went down. But guess what? XRP just had the highest quarterly candle close in the history of XRP. That right there is remarkable. That right there shows strength, right? So, and we had this highest close despite all the bearishness that we see. Now, with all due respect, the candle isn't that great looking. It looks like a gravestone doji. It doesn't look that nice. It looks like a big rejection. But you can see right here, right, we have 1, 2, 3, we pause, and then 4. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3. It looks like we're pausing, just like this candle here, and then we get 4. So could this be 4, right? Could this be our last big quarterly candle that gets us to that $8, $9 area? Maybe, and I think it's really possible, especially because we built all of this structure over the last 7 years. I mean, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, sideways, 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 sideways. You're building in those gaps. It's like you're filling in cement in all of these holes, and now it's ready to rock. So, all right, let's look at the smaller time frames here. So the RSI, you can see it's trending down. We want to see a break above that. Let's see the 2-day chart, the daily. See, we're not really in oversold conditions, but we do have major hidden bullish divergence. Let me show you that. So we may have major hidden bull. So if you, let's actually go up a little bit more here. Okay, so let me see the daily real quick. Yeah, so if we look at the daily, and you look at this point here, which is this point here, and then you go all the way up from there, well, guess what? This point from here is actually where we are here. So it's actually the same. So let me just put a line. Let's see, that low, basically the low that we started kicking off, which is right here, right? So you can see how much further we are up. But when you look at the RSI, this is hidden bullish divergence. You can see the RSI is basically at the same point. And it would be even better if it went down, right? So if the RSI continued to come down, then the RSI would be at a lower point when it was 50 cents than it is when it was, above $2. So that's one way to look at it. So ultimately, the ideas here for XRP is, number one, this could be some kind of flat, right? But the flat is a more complex flat in that it's not just this, it's A, B, and then we get C. So boom, boom, boom. So we get this move down, which could be W, right? And then we come up in 3, that's an X. And then we have 1, 2, 3, all the way down to like 150, 160, that's a Y, right? And then we have a WXY, and we crash below the range. Everybody freaks out. Oh my God, the tariffs are definitely the reason why it's causing the market to come down. And then we hit down at 150, 160, and we have this 3-way move down, and then that's when we go up, right? So we could still have more downside. And the narrative is also going to be, oh yeah, it definitely was the tariffs, but it was more so technical than anything. The other idea is that we have a triangle, A, B, C, D, and then E. A, B, C, D, E. Basically, we have a triangle here, an Elliott wave triangle. So now we finished E, so now we want 5 waves up, and we want a 3-way pullback, and then we want to continue higher. So it's going to be one of those two ideas. I don't know which one it is, but I think it's going to be one of those two. Now, the ultimate bearish scenario is we come down in 3, right? But then once we come back up, we get rejected and then we continue down. That is going to be a different story, right? But we're not even near there yet, right? And then you can look at it also as a descending triangle, which is also bearish and could lead to a breakdown. So, and if I and people also, you could also see a head and shoulders. So you see a head and shoulders, you see a descending triangle, you see 5 waves. So it looks kind of nasty. It looks like it could potentially have already topped, right? And then you add the tariffs in there, it could be a recipe for some more downside. Or maybe it's just the opposite, right? Maybe everyone's convinced that's the case, but it's actually something else. It could also be kind of like a W, X, Y, X, Z, something like that. Basically, we're, flagging out in here. We're flagging out pretty nicely. W, X, Y, X, and then we come down for Z. So it's kind of like the same thing, right? We take out this liquidity right here. We get everybody super bearish, but then we move right on up. So very real possibility there. Other coins too, like ICP, look like they could be almost complete as well. If we take the length of this wave and we move it down to here, you can see we could have one more wave down, right? That would equal the same size. And if that's the case, right? That's why I think when the tariffs come out tomorrow, I don't think we're going to get a move down. I think we're actually going to go up, right? We're probably going to go up, and then later on we'll go down, and then that's when they're going to associate it with the tariffs. But then that's when we sort of mark our bottom, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if that's the third, 1, 2, all of that's 3, then this could come up like this for a wave 4. You see right here, we have 3 waves up, right? We came down, the tariffs come tomorrow, and everyone is going to go short. But what happens is we actually go up. We actually go up in a 4th wave, and then we come down and flush that low and get our 5th wave. 1, 2, all of that's 3, 4, 5. And then that's when we set our base, and then that's when we go on our retrace. So it's all about, when does this wave finish? And it's been a long, grueling process, but it is what it is. So hopefully it finishes soon. Monero, we looked at THETA, same thing, exactly the same thing with THETA, exactly the same. So I think we're pretty much set. Exactly the same for SHIB, exactly the same for NEAR. It's exactly the same. ADA is different. I don't like the proportions, but you got, because this Trump pump right here got it so high, now it doesn't look proportional with this wave. But that's why I think there's some shenanigans here. You see this right here, A, B, C. But look how small this wave is. But it's allowed to be small because how big this wave is. Because this wave wasn't supposed to be this big, right? It was probably supposed to. So here's your wave. Here it's supposed to come up like that, and then come down, and then do this, and then that's more proportional. But it went way up here. Right? So I think there's a good chance it's complete, right? You got 3 down, you got 3 up, and then you got 1, 2, 3 back down. So there could be a chance that it's done. Even with like TIA here, you can see we had this little spike and then an ABC. This could be like a flat here. I was looking at that a little bit. Litecoin, Nothing really there. Yeah, Litecoin looks like it's done because it looks like it's 5 waves. Litecoin looks done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think Litecoin is finished. And then we also have 5 waves in the 5th. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see what happens. I don't know what the future holds. We're just trying to figure things out, looking at ideas. Remember, this is not financial advice. So anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Hit the like, subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.